Kansas State is burning. And before I unpack between Colin Klein to Nae'Qwan Tomlin to Jerome Tang to the guy that sounds like is at the very forefront of this, Richard Linton, I want to say I've seen this from a fan perspective. As somebody who went to Baylor and grew up as a Baylor fan, I have seen things unfold. And I know every fan base kind of has that moment of, oh, this sucks. When you as a fan can't do anything and you're watching everything crumble before you for whatever reason, it could be scandal, right? For me as a Baylor fan, it was scandal. In that situation, I felt so helpless because I didn't do anything. I just wanted to root for Baylor. I was so sick that Baylor done something so wrong. And even while it's not scandal here, it doesn't compare to what happened at Baylor. There are times where as a fan, there's a dark spot at your university or something happens at a university where you have no control over it and you just feel sad. I feel sad for Kansas State today. Colin Klein going to Texas A&M, I think Kansas State will get over that. There was questionable play calling at the end of games a couple times anyways. I think Kansas State's going to get over Colin Klein going to A&M, and it's a great opportunity for him. You could be upset with that, yes. The mass exodus of football players, and you're not sure the future under Chris Kleiman. The team, they underachieved this year. I'm not freaking out from the outside perspective. I think everything's going to be okay. That's all right. Where I really get worried is basketball. Listen, Jerome Tang was somebody, when he was at Baylor, I was closer with Jerome than anybody else on staff. After they won that second Big 12 championship, he was the first person that I hugged, and it was just, we shared a moment. He's just a good dude. I have nothing but good things to say about Jerome Tang and believe he was a key orchestrator of Baylor's national championship and success prior to that. And in the most respectful way possible to every Kansas State fan out there, Jerome Tang has any and every reason at this point to leave. You didn't do that. You had no effect on that. Honestly, Nae'Qwan Tomlin screwed up 100% for sure. But for him, he didn't assume that this was going to lead to something that left the door wide open for Jerome Tang to go. John Kurtz put it so well. Show up. Show up to the rest of the games. Show Jerome Tang the culture of the fan base. But in the end, we're reliving a Frank Martin situation of look at this great coach and an administration that is so nitpicky. The nitpicky doesn't even come close to encompassing what has come out about Richard Linton, the university president, who has overstepped Jerome Tang to say that Nae'Qwan Tomlin couldn't play. Then Gene Taylor comes out, releases a statement. It says, Nae'Qwan Tomlin's done. He's no longer playing for Kansas State. And it seems like the one guy that's not getting a lot of say in this is Jerome Tang. The one guy who's not getting to captain his program. You hired Jerome Tang to be your head coach. And now he's the one guy that you're not allowing to make decisions about that program. This is the same Tang that stole a microphone over the PA at Bramlage and said, hey, everybody, stop saying FKU. Cringy moment a little bit, right? From a fan perspective, you're like, oh, dude, it's just college kids being college kids. But it showed you, and I think you saw it as it unfolded the rest of the year, showed you the heart behind who Jerome Tang is. He said, talk about us. Don't talk about them. Talk about us. Stop chanting that. That is, for a head coach to go that far, to look a little cringy in front of everybody because of his character, because of his morals. And then a university president who just got here wants to overstep that coach. I mean, if all of this, and Kurtz has put out a lot of great stuff on it, I'm sure you're familiar. If all this stuff about Richard Linton having the great claw over the university and the great claw over even basketball is true, it is abhorrent, and Jerome Tang truly does have every reason to get out of Dodge. Do I think he will? I don't know how you don't. You look at Frank Martin. I mean, there have been guys at Kansas State who have loved Kansas State. I think Jerome Tang loves Kansas State. But at some point, you say enough is enough, and as a fan, you can't blame him. This is bad. As a Kansas State fan, if you're a Kansas State fan listening, I'm sorry. You feel helpless. There's nothing you can do. And it goes from Nae'Qwan Tomlin is suspended indefinitely, being treated as an injury. It seems like Jerome Tang's not on board with this, to now he's completely off the team. If Tang was upset with Nae'Qwan Tomlin still being suspended, I can only imagine how he feels about the guy not being on the team anymore. One of the best players who did something stupid in a bar fight. I don't know all the details. I don't. But from everything that's come out about this, sounds like the punishment's not exactly matching the crime. And that Jerome Tang, you heard what he said about the student section, the students delivered. There seems to be a rapport there between Fan and Jerome Tang. But for the university administration, for a guy that's that good, if Richard Linton is the reason Jerome Tang leaves after 2 years, because he's a guy that I thought would follow after Scott Drew and spend 20 years in Manhattan. If he leaves after 2 years, know that it's not about a better opportunity. It is about the university being a complete claw on his program. And that sucks. But again, he has every right to go. And I don't know, the comment's been made. It's been a wild 24 hours for Kansas State. When you take transfer portal, you take Colin Klein, Nae'Qwan Tomlin, Jerome Tang, Richard Linton, Gene Taylor. The next head coach is going to know that I probably don't want to work for Richard Linton. That sucks. But if Jerome Tang leaves this offseason and that's the reason why, it's going to set the program back, maybe the athletic department back a long time. And I'm sorry. Because that, for you, the fan who did nothing, really stinks. Been there. Come back tomorrow. Let's do a final Big 12 football power rankings, I think, hopefully. News keeps breaking. This has been, it always will be. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, okay. Do if you enjoy the stuff, or don't. I'm just happy that you're here. This has been, it always will be. Locked on. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Doce Grande.